When applying to college, picking a major, or entering the workforce, the standard advice is almost always the same. Make sure you have a fallback plan, a safety net, just in case things go wrong. But preparing that cushion introduces a subtle problem. If you build a system designed to catch a retreat, your brain naturally maps a route backward instead of pushing through the friction. Nelson Mandela pointed out the flaw in this kind of caution. He observed, there is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life less than the one you're capable of living. Actor Denzel Washington took this a step further in a university graduation address. He argued that you will lose, you will embarrass yourself, you will be terrible at something. Failure isn't a possibility to plan against, it is an absolute inevitability. This diagram illustrates the physical mechanics of his solution. If you accept that gravity is going to pull you down regardless, the logic changes. You don't want to fall backward into a safety net. You want to fall forward. This way, even as you hit the ground, you cover horizontal distance and actually see what you're going to hit. The impact of failure is a guaranteed event in the physics of any career. The only variable you get to control is your momentum on the way down. Take the statistical profile of Reggie Jackson. During his baseball career, he struck out 2,600 times. That is the highest number of strikeouts in the history of the sport. Yet sports history rarely mentions the misses. The collective memory retains his record of home runs. The hits completely eclipse the reality that he failed more often than anyone else who ever picked up a bat. This ratio of misses to hits scales perfectly to the scientific method. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 distinct experiments attempting to create the light bulb, each one resulting in failure. Looking at this animated scatter plot, you don't see a collection of mistakes. You see a systematic mapping of a maze. Each failed data point eliminates a dead end, narrowing down the remaining physical possibilities. The 1,001st experiment produced a working bulb, entirely because the previous 1,000 failures had precisely mapped the only correct route. Denzel Washington's own path demonstrates how this works in practice. He began at Fordham University as a pre-med student, taking a course in cardiac morphogenesis. He couldn't read the material, he couldn't pronounce it, and he certainly couldn't pass it. This animated timeline tracks what happened next. Leaving medicine behind, he pivoted to pre-law, then journalism. Operating without any fixed academic focus, his trajectory fractured and dropped sharply below the baseline. By age 20, he hit rock bottom. His grades locked in at a 1.8 GPA, prompting the university to politely suggest he drop out. Then came a specific pivot point. On March 27, 1975, while helping at his mother's beauty shop, a town elder delivered a spiritual prophecy, telling him he would travel the world and speak to millions. It gave him a new target. Transitioning into acting, his strategy relied entirely on relentless repetition. He auditioned, prayed, and failed. Then he prepared for the next audition and failed again. He never established a fallback plan. Early on, he read for a perfect role in a Broadway musical at the Court Theater. He lost the job for a very simple reason. He lacked the ability to sing. But the rejection wasn't permanent. 3 decades later, he returned to that exact same Court Theater, headlining the play Fences and winning a Tony Award. That initial rejection at the Court Theater functioned as a necessary 30-year detour, providing Washington the time to develop the specific mastery required for his eventual return in Fences. Structuring a life around a safety net creates a psychological exit ramp that guarantees your most ambitious ideas remain unrealized. To weigh the true cost, project your timeline all the way forward. Imagine you are standing at your own deathbed. Gathered around that bed are ghosts. They represent your unfulfilled potential, the ideas you never acted on, the talents you kept hidden, the risks you refused to take. And they are angry. They came to you because you had the capacity to bring them to life. Because you chose the safety of the fallback plan, those ideas must now go to the grave with you, completely untouched. The stakes extend well past your own life. Places dealing with severe poverty in South Africa, communities in the Middle East, or neighborhoods in Alabama and Philadelphia, the world is actively waiting on the specific capabilities you are holding back. Whether your resource is a business degree, financial capital, or simply a deep capacity for patience and kindness, the situation demands an answer. What are you going to do with what you have before your time runs out? Arriving at death with your potential still intact represents the ultimate waste of a life's resources. Forward momentum, even during a failure, is the only way to ensure that potential is actually spent. Take the risk and fall forward.